Overcoming fear is one of the greatest moves a person can make. First of all, we have to ask ourselves what causes fear. Fear is caused by ignorance, not knowing. And if we're going to go and do anything new, if we're going to break out of a paradigm, if we're going to change habit patterns, we're wandering into an area we've never been. And fear stops most people. You'll find people afraid to talk to a stranger. You'll find individuals afraid to stand up and ask a question in front of other people. You'll find salespeople afraid to make a sales call, afraid to ask for the order. Stop and think of how confining that is. A person is putting themselves into a small cell, but it's in their own mind. The doors aren't locked. They can open, and you can walk away to freedom if you learn to overcome fear. When you face fear, it leaves you. Face the thing you fear, and it'll leave you. That's really the secret of it. In fact, if you hold yourself back because of fear, your life actually comes to a stop, because nothing gets better than it is. You've got to be courageous. Now, courageous people aren't without fear. Courageous people are the ones that face their fear. I think Eddie Rickenbacker pointed that out, the great pilot. Don't let fear stop you. Make up your mind you're going to step out and do it. Stop and think of the number of people that are in jobs that they don't like and they're afraid to leave. Or people in relationships that are destructive and they're afraid to leave. This is a terrible way to live, and it's not necessary. It's just caused by ignorance. And when we step out and do something, we gain an awareness. We develop an understanding. And like that, the fear is gone. Make up your mind that fear is not going to stop you from doing the thing you really want to do. Step out and do it today. It's Bob Proctor. Thank you.
Wow. I forgot how much I love that video. What an incredible video. What an incredible introduction. So welcome, welcome, welcome to you all. Day 3. My goodness, day 3. And I'm trusting already that you are noticing a difference. You are turning up differently. You are thinking differently. And your energy is different. So thank you so much for your shares. Thank you so much for doing the work in the Facebook group, and also for your messages and things like that we've received. It's only been 2 days. So put a yes. Now, I don't have YouTube up, Jamie, so I'm going to depend on you for this, but put a yes in the chat if you realise how far you have come already, if you are already experiencing that sense of realisation that whatever it is that you say that you want is absolutely possible for you. And then imagine how you are going to feel after another 3 days of this. So we know after the things that you've shared with us, after the conversations, after the work that you've done, that we have even more that we want to just keep giving you. We know how powerful this material is. We know this material changes lives. And now you realise that you've been holding yourself back. It hasn't been anybody else. It has been you. And I know through experiences of doing these challenges that you are still here, you are still listening, and that tells us that you are done with that. You are absolutely done. So whether you're watching in replay or if you are watching live, type done. Write done. If you're watching the replay, write it in your pad. Done, 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 done. If you are done with holding yourself back from the things that you need to be doing to have the life that you say you want, to have the career that you say you want, to make the difference that you want to make, to have the business that you say you want. NLP terms, one of the main problems humans have is the problem of hesitation. Unfortunately, people hesitate and they don't take action that could enable them to achieve their goals. As soon as you hesitate to do something, the little people in your head, have you seen that film Inside Out? We talk about this a lot in our community. There's a brilliant film. It really helps you to understand there are little people in your head, little voices in your head, that when you don't do the thing that you say you're going to do, when you hesitate, they say, oh, danger. danger, danger. And then they make it really uncomfortable for you to do it, so you don't do it. So don't hesitate. Most people hold themselves back in case the action that they're thinking of taking isn't the right action. Oh, but what if? Or what if somebody sees it? So what? Do it. Just do it. Yeah. Because whilst you're sitting and doing nothing, and I said this yesterday, the world is simply moving on without you. So tonight we are going to talk to you about the one thing that people very rarely hear, very rarely hesitate on. Do you want to know what it is? Yes. Jamie wants to know. Do you know what it is?
Yes, yes.
Today we are talking about fear. Now, I had a really lovely conversation, powerful conversation with one of our one-to-one clients quite recently. And she knows that I share this. She comes to these sessions sometimes. Well, some of our clients watch these. Some of them are participating in this because they know how powerful when you're ready to look at that next level. If you've smashed one goal and you're thinking about another one, or if you want to just reframe, they come back and they do these sessions with us. But she was writing her goal and she was telling me how she was finding it hard and that she was struggling and that she had a blockage, and she described it as a brick wall of fear. And I told her, I'm going to tell you exactly what I told her in that call. We are actually only born with two fears. We have a fear of loud noises and we have a fear of falling. And all the other fears we learned. So what's good about that? Anything that we can learn, we can unlearn. All the rest, all the other fears that you have, were all given to you, a little bit like an unwanted gift. And when they were gifted to you, they were done so by loved ones. They were done so with good intention. When we were young, as Jamie shared with us last night, when our subconscious mind was so wide open that we didn't have the ability to accept or reject. But now you're in this work, you realize this, don't you? I want you to type a yes in the chat if this makes sense. This makes sense, doesn't it? All the messages, all the meaning that we've made of things is simply because they came from the people that we trust. So we took them on, we made them our stories. I shared that with my story last night about their proper job. I took it, I heard it, it was somebody I love, it's somebody that loves me. It was said with, of course, with good intention, but we make it mean something. And so now, when we're younger, we don't have a choice, but now we do. Now we get to invest in ourselves. We get to invest time and energy into thinking about, well, what is it? What are those messages that I've taken on and I've made mean something? And what am I no longer available for? What am I ready to let go? And you'll realize that this work isn't done in a week or a fortnight. You know, we're here giving you everything because we want you to experience what it's like to be in our world. We want you to experience that life gets to be different. We want to open your mind to possibility. We want to stretch your thinking like we stretch your muscles in a gym, that life gets to be different. You don't get a six-pack from just going to the gym for a week. Yeah, you get a six-pack by continually going and practicing. And then you realize one day, if I really want to keep this six-pack, I need to keep doing this work. And this is what this work is. It's a lifestyle, it's a practice. But if you want the six-pack of life, the incredible life, the goals, the business, the career, the relationships, the health, the wealth, whatever it is that you're here, that's brought you here, if you want that, this work is available for you. It's ready for you when you're ready for it. So let's type that in the chat. Who realizes that this work is like a mind gym? Yeah. And who realizes that they're already committing to being here for that week? If you're committing to being here for the rest of this week with us, we've got something very special for you this weekend. So type I am in the chat. And one of the things that we left with yesterday is really understanding that internal commitment that we make with ourselves, because if you really want something, that something very real is going to get in your way. And that simple word is fear. Fear. And I love the breakdown of fear of false evidence appearing real. How good is that? I love that. When I first became a mum, I think that was probably the first time I did experience real fear. And when my kids were young, I used to fear everything. I didn't do anything with them. Like I didn't do like when we went to parks or went to Disney or places like that, I always sat on the sidelines. I never went in the water. I never enjoyed the fun rides. I never did the scary things that go upside down and back to front and fast. And when I came into this work and I realised that fear is learned, I got to make a decision about what I was wanting to do with that. And once you start to realize that everything is about a decision that you've made in the past, you get to realize that there's another decision that you get to make in the future. And so I'd made an unconscious decision at some point in my life that all these things that my kids were doing, I wasn't available for me. And it was my responsibility. Nobody else was going to do that for me. If I wanted to be part of it, if I wanted to do the things, if I wanted to love the things and enjoy the things, that's my responsibility. And seeing that through and doing these things, it comes with fear because I'd talked myself into fearing these things for so long that when I finally came to do them, I was terrified. I was terrified. And one of the first times that I did the thing, I went on a massive roller coaster. And it was, my kids were so excited that I was coming on. And I was sitting with my friend Claire. This is one of my favourite memories ever. And it was called Shambhala. It is called Shambhala. It's in a place called Salou. It's in Portaventura in Salou. And we went when my kids were really little. And my elder kids were able to get on it. So they're like, come on, Mum, come on it. Well, my friend Claire and I went on and they put me right at the front. And the kids were sitting behind me. And they were just so excited. So Claire and I were just kind of blethering away. She hadn't been on it either. And we're blah, 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 blah. And of course, it's going up and up and up and up. And it is literally like horizontal. And I knew I was chatting away because I was taking my mind off what I was doing, but I was also enjoying the company. And then you get to the top and it just goes over. And then it just sits like that. And we just were chatting away. And then I just went, and I started screaming like a complete banshee, but also laughing, just really enjoying the experience. But the best thing ever was at the very end, they recorded it. So they have these little cameras now in roller coasters where they record the actual. So I've always had these photographs, and so this was years ago. But oh my God, we watched that video and we laughed until we cried. So fear is real. And fear can really stop you from doing the things until you realize fear is part of the process. And so you get to do the thing terrified. And once you've done it, the feeling is unimaginable. So I would say for a long time, I lived the same day in, day out for years. We were talking about that actually in the academy this morning. It was one of the conversations that we were having. Around 96% of our behaviour is automatic. 96% of how we live is automatic. And that basically means that yesterday was the same as today and tomorrow will be the same as today. And most of us are living life on autopilot, stuck in the thinking and the feeling loops that we've lived in for years. And I did that. I did that for years. For the first 10 years of my kids' life, I lived on autopilot. The same things that got me annoyed, the same things that worked me up, the same things that I feared. And because the mind wants more of what we give it, you literally go into a downward spiral. But now that I know this, the mind is designed for safety and familiarity. So what you think about becomes familiar. That's what it wants. So when you say, I'm going on the biggest roller coaster, because it was one of the biggest in the world at that point, it's like, no, you're not. You don't do that, Nikki. You don't go on roller coasters. You don't go upside down. You don't go fast. You don't do this. You don't do that. Well, yes, I do, because I've decided I am now that person. We talk a lot about identity, who you think you are and who you think you're not. And you get to create that person. One of my favourite Bob Proctor quotes, and I love sharing this because it still makes me smile, because genuinely, He says, if you work with me in 6 months' time, you won't recognize yourself. You'll need a telescope to look back. And I remember thinking, I like this man, but he's got good chat. He's got really good chat. And now, fuck, my life is unrecognizable. And at 6 months, it's almost like every 6 months I look back and I go, wow. I decide what I want my year to look like. And in 6 months' time, I look back and I have achieved so much more than I ever thought was possible. And I used to live the same day every day for years and call it life. And so gratitude for the journey, for the material, for choosing me, for choosing to put myself in environments where you get to break through your walls of fear. I am so grateful for all of it because my life is incredible. There is nothing that fears me, that stops me. Everything's there. The fear is there. Of course, it's there, a part of life, but it does not stop me. And so, yeah, what's the difference? Knowledge. Knowledge is power. Expect the discomfort. Most people make the discomfort mean, I shouldn't do it. I'll wait till I'm motivated. I'll wait till I'm comfortable. I'll wait until, the sky turns green. All you're doing is creating distance between what you say you want and ever getting it. When we suppress fear, when we pretend it's not there, or when we allow it to numb us, it numbs all of us. The mind doesn't differentiate. When you stop doing the things that create that excitement, you numb everything. So feel the fears and do it anyway. And it all comes because I now have the knowledge. I know that what keeps us stuck is the familiar. What keeps us stuck is the not knowing and is the ignorance. And so our job today with you is to share with you some knowledge about fear and how to turn it into faith so that you also can start building the life that you want. You can start turning up as the version of you want, the one that does the roller coasters, even though for maybe 20 years you've said you didn't. The other favourite quote that I have of Bob's is, you are not meant to tiptoe through life and make it safely to death and live a mediocre life. We are all supposed to be heroes of our own life. We are supposed to push boundaries. We are supposed to be growing. And it makes sense, doesn't it? That life is for living, really experiencing everything, all the feels, even the fears. It's the yin and yang of life. It's why our coaching logo is what it is. You can't enjoy the good if you don't feel the bad. But when you feel the bad and you do it anyway, the good is incredible. So welcome to night 3.
Is that you done? I could just sit and listen to this all day.
Mute.
Do you hear me? Hello? Is that better? Hello?
No, I cannot hear you.
Hold on.
Got to love going live.
Is this better? Hello? Is this better? Hello? Do you now hear me?
That's it.
That's better. I went in and out again. I was just saying I could have sat and listened to that all day because this is something for those of you who are watching here. This is really about all of us going through this journey together. And the material reminds us constantly of what we're doing here. Hopefully that sounds a bit better. Does that sound better? Yeah? I can't hear you now. Well, you're on mute, that's how.
Sorry, I put myself in mute. I can hear you really well.
Well, hopefully you can hear me loud and clear.
Oh, yeah. Try again.
Yeah?
Speak again.
Hello?
Yeah. It's different,
Yeah,
but it's good.
it's different. Yeah, I'm just changing mics around here. Hello, hello. Yeah, that's better. Okay, good.
Okay.
Anyway, so thank you for those who've put the homework into the Facebook group today or yesterday. Because what we're about to discuss today is about you taking responsibility. We've got goals, we've understood paradigms, and what we're about to do now is going to give you, actually, I don't know if you know this, but inside your portal, we've given you articles and tools. We've given you giveaways. And if you go through the workbook that we talked about last night, you go to the portal, you will find stuff in there that's going to really help you take all this material forward. So yesterday in the portal, we didn't tell you about this, but essentially, somebody's trying to phone me. It's called the self-confidence formula. And the self-confidence formula is something that we take our clients through, and we often give them a 30-day challenge to read this self-confidence formula every single day for 30 days. And we would love you to give it a go as well. Now, I've got the self-confidence formula on my wall, framed, and I've signed it. And I read that every single day. When I come into my office in the morning, 5:30, I look at that. I read every single section of that. I'm going to read this out. I'm going to show you this in a second as well. And the reason I'm going to read it to you is because it's a really, really nice piece. And I also did this for 90 days. And I wrote it down in my journal every single day. And that was when I became a coach with Bob Proctor, because my coach Matthew back then, we had a good chat about my self-image, really being confident within myself. And I just wasn't putting myself out there. My confidence wasn't being portrayed to the way I would want it to be portrayed. And I wasn't taking action on things that really scared me. Now, I take a lot of risky actions, and I've got this mantra of just do it and then worry about it later. And sometimes that takes me forward in life. But sometimes I get into a wee bit of trouble. And sometimes I make mistakes. But that's perfectly okay. But I knew that the small little things just didn't cut it. You know, and for those of you who know me, I like to take risks. I like to take big action. But I knew to have the life for me and my family that I wanted to live, I had to really step through massive fears. I had to start breaking down massive barriers that held me back, held me where I was, held me where I was wanting to go. And I was given this to read every single day in the mirror. I had to take action, but I wrote this out as well, every single part of the self-confidence formula. And you'll see why once I read this out in a minute, once I show it to you, just how wonderful this is. So I'm going to read it out to you, and I want you to start to think about maybe bringing it into your own daily routines or even your own daily practice for 30 days to begin with. Now, it's not going to hurt, but it can absolutely help you grow in confidence, like skyrocket, so that you can really start to turn up every single day as the person who has already achieved the things you want to achieve in your life. So, does that sound like something you can do? Do you really want to create your reality? I know you can. I know you're already committed to doing this. So when I read this out, I want you to listen to this and see yourself within the self-confidence formula. So this is it. And actually for you, Sean and Cyril, well done, the both of you, for doing your homework last night. We're going to send this to you, and you can print this off, and you can frame this, and you can print your name, and you can sign it, put the date on it, and make a commitment to do this every single day. And if you just look at the words in here and listen to this, it's just incredible. It says, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action. I realise the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore,
I concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person that I tend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. And listen, don't worry if you can't read the letters on your screen. It will be sent out to you, and it's in your portal as well, so you can get this. Number 3, I know through the principle of auto-suggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. Number 4, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying until I shall have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Number 5, my favourite part. I fully realise that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I believe in them and in myself. I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it once a day with full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I will become a self-reliant and successful person. Every time I read that, I cannot help but feel the emotion stir in my body. Now, I'm going to keep that up here just now because what we talked about last night, we were identifying the limiting beliefs that were holding you back from what you were actually going after. So the paradigms that are within the subconscious mind, these thoughts that we sometimes have that we accept that aren't true, the fears, the anxieties. Number 3 on the self-confidence formula is telling you why this process can be so critical for your success. It says here, I know through the principle of auto-suggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining it. Auto-suggestion is self-suggestion. It is the language you use to your subconscious mind every single day. You're doing it. You speak to yourself more than anybody else in your life, and you will, or anybody else will ever speak to your life. So the words you pass across into your subconscious, which has got emotion attached to it, you've got to be careful what you say because you are listening. And if the words are more negative, patronising towards yourself, that element of self-sabotage, then your subconscious mind will hold on to that. And it may make you feel less confident and make you feel that scared feeling, the fear. And it limits us and inhibits us from moving forward. So this is why I wanted to share this here. Because don't you think that if you read this every single day for 30 days that you would start to change some of your thoughts? Just read that once to you there. Because when you concentrate your thoughts for 30 minutes a day, thinking about the person you want to become, the things you want to have in your life, what do you think it would happen? You start to become that person. Because I know I did, and Nikki's given you plenty of examples of how she's changed her life as well. I really started to become somebody that had not just more confidence, but more faith in me, more belief in me. And that's what I mean by taking 100% responsibility. Last night, Nikki talked about responsibility, the ability to respond. The ability to respond to every single day is by taking responsibility for our lives. We cannot blame others. It is not on others. It is not about others. It's on us. It's on you. Bob said, you are your biggest problem, but you're your biggest solution. We are the problem. We are the solution. You are the only thing that's standing in your way. You and your fears. But you need to identify one thing. What is it that you're so afraid to do? Well, you go and take action towards those fears today. Because that's the choice we've got. You give in to fear, or you develop that faith. Now, I know this is making sense, isn't it? I know there's fears you're thinking about, and you know exactly what you need to do. So there's another little example I'm going to put up here. Another stick person. Remember yesterday? We talked about this wonderful stick person, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind. We had the body, and the way we think is the way we feel, and the way we feel makes us act. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Conditions and circumstances, all the environments we're around, all the results that you get. And here is exactly how this works. This here is the stick person, like you have probably never or will never ever see this again. Now, many of the conversations I have around setting goals, identifying paradigms that hold us back, and somebody said it on the call on Monday night as well, how? How am I meant to do this? How am I meant to achieve this? How? And what we're saying there is actually we don't know what we don't know. We are ignorant to the fact of how to achieve certain things. So the example that somebody on the call on Monday night said, we've got this event coming up, and what if we don't sell enough tickets? What if we don't break even? What if? And I said, well, did you know that Bob Proctor, yes, the famous Bob Proctor, 50 odd years ago, broke away from Earl Nightingale and the Nightingale Connick Organisation, which was the biggest recording manufacturer of self-development stuff across the world. He went, I'm doing it myself, Earl. Your staff are no good. I'm going myself. And he set up Bob Proctor seminars, and he printed off flyers, and he went into shops, and he handed them out, and he booked a massive theatre. He thought, I cannot wait to pack this theatre. And he got there, and he opened the curtain, and there were 4 people in the audience, expecting about 1,000. But he delivered to those 4 people like he would deliver to 4,000 people. Bob's mantra is, a professional is always at their best. Why am I saying this? Because yes, sometimes there will be worry and doubt on our conscious mind about the negative things that might happen in our life. However, if we internalize these, if we accept these ideas to be true, what do? We pass them on to the subconscious mind by the language of the subconscious mind, which is emotion. And in the subconscious mind, if you've got worry and doubt in the conscious mind, you pass it down to the subconscious mind, and that's what creates the feeling of fear. And as somebody said earlier on, I think it was you, Cyril, false expectations or false evidence appearing real. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. So the physical manifestation of that, we describe the feeling of fear as anxiety. And that anxiety is that that feeling you get almost like me step in front of a bus on a moving street. And what do we do with anxiety? Most of us, we tuck it away and we suppress it. We pretend it's not there. And the more we suppress this, it could lead to depression. And we know from the work that we're involved in, from a physiological perspective and the work of Joe Dispenza, that could turn into dis-ease because our cells are in a high state of negative vibration and emotion. And that can lead to disintegration. And I'm saying that could lead to disintegration if you hold on to that for long periods of time. And this all comes from the ignorance, just not knowing. So on the opposite of this is where the real magic starts to happen. Knowledge. Not just knowledge being power, but knowledge being applied through study. And the only way to acquire knowledge is through study. Now, I'm not saying you need to go to the library till 3 o'clock in the morning, like what we did when we had a hand in that essay that had to be due 3 hours later. I'm saying the more you understand and you get the competency of the knowledge in your conscious mind, you then feel, I think this is going to be okay, which we also define as faith. The opposite of faith is fear, and the opposite of fear is faith. And faith and fear both demand that you believe in something that you cannot see. And it's a choice. But the feeling of fear or faith isn't the choice, it's what's happening on the conscious level. You either worry and doubt through ignorance, or you understand through the more knowledge you acquire. And this is what this week's about. So when we've got that faith, we have got tip-top levels of well-being, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And your whole body and your whole aura and your whole spirit is on fire. And you express that. When you're confident and you have faith and you assume and expect everything to be fine, that glow you take around you, other people pick up on that. People trust you. People feel safe around you. Good leaders in life make people feel safe. And when you express that, what happens? You accelerate towards the goals and the person you want to become, and they accelerate towards you. And then, instead of being, and you can see how that word dis-ease has been hyphenated, you're at ease. And the more you're at ease and you're calm, at a cellular level, your cells are doing something magnificent. The energy that you're emitting is completely different from the one that's disease or at dis-ease. And you're in a more creative place. And all that comes from knowledge. It comes from understanding. It comes from having faith. And the more we practice this, and what we do in our community, we practice this every single day, not just from a knowledge perspective or a practical application. We get to experience, especially through what Nikki does around emotional intelligence and getting us to embody what we're doing. It's like you're floating through life because you can deal with whatever life throws at you. So this here describes you. And can I just be clear here that we're not just on one or the other sides of the stick person. We float between both because that's who we are as humans. But where it gets really, really, really magical is that you get to choose which side of that stick person to be on. Choice of thought gives you choice of feeling, gives you choice of action, in turn gives you choice of results. So when we talk about how to create your reality, you literally get to create your reality by the more you understand through all of this. So I think I'm going to bring on a video here. What do you think, Nikki?
Yeah, my favourite.
So we're about to show you a video that's demonstrating fear. And I want you to watch this and I want you to describe exactly what this has said to you, how it spoke to you over, I think it's about 3 minutes that this is on for. So where on earth is my video? Here it is here. Okay, here we go. Enjoy.
Skydiving is a really interesting confront with fear. I gotta stand up. You go out the night before and you take a drink with your friends and somebody says, yeah, we should go skydiving tomorrow. And you go, yeah, we'll go skydiving tomorrow. Yeah. And you go, yeah. And everybody goes, yeah. And you go home by yourself, you're like, Right? You're like, well, I mean, they was drunk too. So then that night you're laying in your bed and you just keep, and you're terrified. You keep imagining over and over again jumping out of an airplane and you can't figure out why you would do that. So you get there and then you have this safety brief and you're standing there and the guys will tell you, well, if the chute doesn't open, what's going to happen is well, why the hell, what could happen? So you get onto the airplane and you're sitting there and it's extra because you're sitting on some dude's lap, some stranger, trying to make small talk. Yeah, man. So you be jumping with people all the time, huh? So you fly and you go up to 14,000 feet and somebody opens the door. And in that moment, you realize you've never been in a freaking airplane with the door open. Terror, 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 terror. And then people start going out of the airplane. And the guy walks you up to the end of the thing, and you're standing and your toes are on the edge, and you're looking out down to death. They say on 3. 1, 2, and he pushes you on 2 because people grab on 3. And you fall out of the airplane, and in 1 second, you realize that it's the most blissful experience of your life. You're flying. There's zero fear. You realize that the point of maximum danger is the point of minimum fear. The lesson for me was, why were you scared in your bed the night before? What do you need that fear for? Everything up to the stepping out, there's actually no reason to be scared. And then in that moment, all of a sudden, where you should be terrified is the most blissful experience of your life. And God placed the best things in life on the other side of fear. That was my experience with skydiving.
How good. So
I
good.
absolutely love it. And I honestly, I couldn't tell you how many times I have watched that video, and every time I just think it blows my mind. Fear is all in our heads. That bit where he talks about being in your bed the night before, like you've spent all that, and how many of you have done that? God, I know how many times I've done that. When you have literally been lying in your bed, you cannot sleep at night for worrying about something. And most of the time, what you're worried about never happens anyway. But that whole quote that he says, God placed the best things in life on the other side of fear. It's beautiful. So you get to step through that wall of fear. Yeah, we get to realize that the goal that we have is possible. The fear is always going to get in our way. It's supposed to. We've got a part of us that wants growth, and we've got the part of us that wants to stay the same. We don't want to lose fear. Fear keeps us alive. Fear stops us from walking in front of cars, when they're coming towards us. We need the fear. But there are times when we don't need it. There are times when we get to say, thank you, but I don't need you right now. That part of you that wants to protect me, we don't need it all. You know now your goal is possible. You know that you have everything within you. And you know that everything within you will also try its hardest to stop you from moving forward. But you can still move forward. And you're here, and you can think about these things, but you don't have to embody the feeling that comes with the fear. You can see it. You can see it from a distance. That's one of the pieces of work that we do deeply in our emotional intelligence on Wednesdays, is how do you see the emotion or see the thought without becoming the emotion? Everything is possible. The only thing standing in your way is the belief that you have about you. And what you're realizing now already is that's not yours. That's something that you made meaning when you were young, when you were a child. Now, the antidote to fear is gratitude. And we practice gratitude every day in our community. We practice gratitude for what we're creating at the beginning of our day, and we practice gratitude for everything that we have experienced throughout that day. Movie reeling the day in your mind, and I encourage you to practice this even tonight. Go back towards today and think about, what am I grateful for? And writing that down is one of the most powerful exercises you will ever do. Most people will not do this. Most people will resist. Most people will never understand the power of bringing into your consciousness the most amazing things that have happened, that if you don't give yourself that opportunity to feel the feels of the good stuff, you will simply forget it. So the law of gratitude is the natural principle that action and reaction are always equal and in opposite directions. You cannot give what you do not have. You cannot give out confidence if you haven't got confidence within to put out. You cannot give out love if you haven't got love within to put out. So whatever it is that you put out into the world, it will come back to you. If you put out good because you've got good within, it will come back. And love, and we're going to talk about energy tomorrow. I've got some great ideas of what I want to bring into the conversation tomorrow around energy and emotions, our energy and motion. We're going to talk all about this tomorrow. But love is the highest energy there is. In fact, no, there's a higher one now, Jamie, isn't there? What was the highest? We did this quite recently. I'll need to go back and have a look. Was it
Authenticity.
authenticity? Yeah. Can you
Off
imagine
the
living your
scale.
life in authenticity, in alignment with who you say you are, by doing the things you say you're going to do, by becoming the person you say you want to be? There are always situations in life that will challenge you. You get to choose how you respond. One of the quotes that changed my life was the Viktor Frankl quote. He's got an incredible book. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. If you haven't read it, I would encourage you to read it. It is one of the most humbling reads you will ever read. But the quote is, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies our personal freedom and our happiness. You get to create space for this material in your life. You get to choose who you want to be. It took me a long time to let go of some of the resentment that I had towards others. But when you realize that the only person that's suffering is you, you get to choose to send love. And when you choose to send love, when you choose to see the good in others, it comes back. The law of gratitude. Action and reaction always equal and in opposite directions. So choose to see the good in others. Choose to lift your head in a world that's so designed to keep us away from others by being on our phones. And choose to connect with people. Our role, our vision, our mission in life is to get this information out to as many people as possible, to serve others, to serve our clients, to serve you all who are listening to this, to give you this for free. There's no agenda. We're literally giving you all of this for free because we know how this information changes lives. And what we want is to make the world a better place. The more people that start to live this material and start to understand it, the better this world will be. And one of the most wonderful things I'm grateful for is the community that we've created, is our Brilliant Minds Academy, because what we've done in there is we've created momentum for you. When you realize how powerful this work is, when you realize that you get to be in this material every day, when you're ready for that, we've got that academy for you, for people who say they want the change and are prepared to do the work. Because sometimes it's quite easy once you've got the goal. It's easy to get the goal sometimes. The hardest thing is getting started. Yeah, taking that first step, moving towards that goal, writing that post, making that offer, having that difficult conversation, whatever it is, letting something go. That can be really tough. We teach you the powerful ways to create this, to start this. All the things that we've been showing you this week, we do it in our academy every week. How to write things down, how to visualize, how to really understand how powerful it becomes. And it's how we create momentum. In the group space, we've got accountability, we've got growth. And the biggest thing that we see is the people that move the fastest aren't the ones who know more. They're the ones who stay in momentum. Your environment shapes you. Our clients in our academy are almost unrecognizable from when they arrived. The things that used to scare them, the things that they never believed possible, are becoming a way of life. They do things with ease because we've created an environment full of people who think the same as you, where your thinking is stretched. You think beyond what's possible right now. It becomes available for you, and that is exciting. It's exciting. Isn't it exciting? And you can see how you can move your goal from someday to, oh wow, this is happening. I'm in it. I'm living it. Yeah. So when you come in to that world, you won't recognize who you are in 6 months' time. So I want you to simply imagine being around this material every day. Imagine starting your day off like this, with like-minded people, an hour or so for a week. We've been here for 3 days and I can already see and feel the shift. Can you imagine doing it for a week? Can you imagine doing it for 6 months? Can you imagine doing it for a year? You can see how your motivation and how your momentum is created. And the change you seek is available for you. So tomorrow we're going to talk about energy. We're going to stay in this energy. Who wants to stay in this energy? And what kills momentum is isolation. Yeah, this is why we're going to bring, hopefully, some people. We might have some people that will be able to talk to us tomorrow. If not, we've got lots of great things we want to share with you. But it makes sense, doesn't it, when you're around this energy? It's contagious. And it raises your standards. It opens your eyes to what you're no longer available for. We are the sum of who we surround ourselves with. That's who we become. We are influenced, we are affected by our environment, by the people. And what we've done this week is we've opened your eyes to a different way of living. And tomorrow we're going to show you even more. A different way of living and being. It's not just about teaching concepts, it's activating the identity, the version of you who is already becoming that person who knows their goal, who wants their goal, who follows through, who keeps moving, who creates momentum through the doing, even when it's hard, even when the fear is there. Because these little tiny steps forward every day, it all adds up. And when you stay in the energy of this, it is life-changing. I'm going to drink water now.
I'm just checking the comments, and I'm loving that people being so honest. You know, Cyril and Sharon in particular, and I want actually anybody who's watching live here just now, just checking on what the dominating feeling is. Actually, type in the chat. How are you feeling right now? What's the dominating feeling? And just be honest. In one word, how do you sum that up? And what we're talking about here in terms of developing faith over fear is that there's a framework we follow when you're part of our academy. Because when you start to work through this, you break faith into little chunks, and it's about repetition. Now, we repeat things every single day, but repeating the thing that you want every single day with the same mental picture, but you've got that emotional involvement, you've got that certainty. Yeah, that reflective certainty, that calm certainty, absolutely, Shan's been reflective. Persistence is another chapter in the book Think and Grow Rich, and it states that persistence is the only way of inducing faith. Through persistently, as Nikki said, practicing an attitude of gratitude every day. An attitude of gratitude creates small wins. It then gives you that reinforcement of the identity you've got. And basically, you'll see it when you believe it. How many of you said that? We need that proof. So what we've got to do to really understand how to develop that faith is to choose what that outcome is going to be. Not the pathway, not the how. You choose what the outcome is going to be. And then you let your mind or the universe find out the routes. Instead of forcing things, you're staying connected to the vision. But it's the action we've got to take, the small aligned actions. And this is how it moves from just an idea to implementation. Action reinforces beliefs. Tiny little small actions really matter. And when you've got these daily movements, they compound into something bigger. And what we're doing here is really protecting your faith from the negative environments we're around on a regular basis. So we've got some homework for you to do that's going to bring all of this. And Cyril, I'm going to comment and make reference to your comment. Cyril said that true courage is not the absence of fear, but doing things despite the fear. I love that.
Love it.
So we've got a challenge for you right now. This is your homework, which may generate a little bit of fear within you. But we're going to hang on to Cyril's comment there and be courageous, not in the absence of this fear, but we're going to do it anyway, despite the fear. So the homework is this, that you are going to go live into the Facebook group for a minimum of 60 seconds. And you can share your learning or any breakthrough you've had from this week so far. So that's one. However, if some of you are on this call right now and you're going, well, I'm kind of quite comfortable going live, then you're going to take one major uncomfortable action, and then you're going to do the live and explain what you did and where or what fear you've overcame. So what we're doing here is we're converting faith into actual embodied action. How does that make you feel? This is tonight's homework. Going live. So we're going to come off the call soon, and me and Nick are going to count down from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. And when we come back, we're going to congratulate you. We're going to recognise all you action takers and leaders and courageous people, because you're all about taking immediate action. Because we take the fear, we understand the knowledge, we take responsibility, we have the faith, we repeat it, we take action, and we start to shift that identity. This is how it works. Not only are you going to create your reality, you're going to create a transformational life for you and everybody surrounds you. So I'm also going to bring Bob back in at the end, but we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and go live into the Facebook group, and we'll put the Facebook group back into the WhatsApp chat, and then we'll also see you back here tomorrow evening. So Nikki, shall we count down
Tomorrow
from
afternoon.
tomorrow afternoon? Shall we count down?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. You've got to go live. Are we ready?
No hesitation. Just
No
go
hes-
and do it.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 5,
5,
4,
4, 3,
3, 2,
2,
1.
go.
Go! And we'll see you tomorrow. Well done, folks. And here's Bob to take us out. Bye-bye.
Overcoming fear is one of the greatest moves a person can make. First of all, we have to ask ourselves what causes fear. Fear is caused by ignorance, not knowing. And if we're going to go and do anything new, if we're going to break out of a paradigm, if we're going to change habit patterns, we're wandering into an area we've never been. And you know, fear stops most people. You'll find people afraid to talk to a stranger. You'll find individuals afraid to stand up and ask a question in front of other people. You'll find salespeople afraid to make a sales call, afraid to ask for the order. Stop and think of how confining that is. A person's putting themselves into a small cell, but it's in their own mind. The doors aren't locked. They can open, and you can walk away to freedom if you learn to overcome fear. When you face fear, it leaves you. Face the thing you fear, and it'll leave you. That's really the secret of it. In fact, if you hold yourself back because of fear, your life actually comes to a stop, because nothing gets better than it is. You've got to be courageous. Now, courageous people aren't without fear. Courageous people are the ones that face their fear. I think Eddie Rickenbacker pointed that out, the great pilot. Don't let fear stop you. Make up your mind you're going to step out and do it. Stop and think of the number of people that are in jobs that they don't like and they're afraid to leave. Or people in relationships that are destructive and they're afraid to leave. This is a terrible way to live, and it's not necessary. It's just caused by ignorance. And when we step out and do something, we gain an awareness. We develop an understanding. And like that, the fear is gone. Make up your mind that fear is not going to stop you from doing the thing you really want to do. Step out and do it.